Thank you for joining us here on the Mad Marketing Show. You can find us on Facebook by going to the IB Network or by visiting our website at successradio.us or madcrane.com. You can also find our show on TuneIn Radio and SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. We're available. So be sure to find us, follow us, and like us. The Mad Crane Marketing Show is sponsored in part by the 365 Grand Club. Remember, your club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. If you don't have one, be sure to get one today by going to 365grandclub.com. So, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. We are graced with the presence of Natalie Gowen of Moxie Tonic Marketing, and really thrilled to have you on the show. We're going to be chatting about content marketing, social media, realistically just what makes for good content on the web today. But before we roll into all that, I'd love to have you give yourself a chance to introduce yourself to our listeners and tell a little bit about who you are.
Great. Thanks, Alex. It's really great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to come on your show
for joining us. Yeah.
Geek out a little bit about what it takes to be a great content marketer and how to elevate your brand and your business online. For starters, Moxie Tonic Marketing is a passion of mine. Launched about 3 or 4 years ago with a focus on helping small businesses and entrepreneurs really hone in on what their core message is and connect to their ideal client in a way that just builds that, brand love and connection.
Awesome. Okay. And that passion for helping folks with their business, is that something that had you been in marketing previously, or is it a kind of a new thing for you? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, I started my career actually in fundraising development for a College of Business at Cal State Fullerton in California. And, just those skills that I learned there on how to network and build connection and build a community are the same skills that I later applied into event marketing and then later into actually building brand messages for individual companies.
And that's kind of how you became... Now, you started Moxie Tonic Marketing. It is your whole enterprise now, right? Now you're a full-time, and you've been doing it for over a year, right? It's like...
Right. Launched full-time about a year ago, and now exciting. Adding to the team, bringing on new designers and social media managers. And
so growing.
Just growing.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's always good. That means you're doing something right?
Hey, sharing people's stories, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely. Well, and I tell folks all the time, modern marketing is no longer features and benefits. It's story. It's feelings and sentiments, and it's connecting to people. So beginning there, taking what you know with content marketing and what you do with Moxie Tonic, how do you go about telling someone's story?
At first it starts with the customer.
Okay.
Most people online make the mistake of starting with themselves.
Right.
And starting by talking about their company and how great they are and how wonderful their processes are or the services that they deliver, and on and on and on. And about 3 sentences in, you've completely lost your audience.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. Exactly. It's all, what about me? And it sounds really selfish, but that's what every single person online is thinking when they come to your website. Mm-hmm. What about me? We're so inundated with marketing messages. Every time I hear a new statistic, it's gone up by like 3,000 ad impressions over the course of the day. And we don't have time to stop and wonder about, how can that help me? Mm-hmm. As a business, you have to make that really, really clear. And the best way you can do that is by starting to talk about your customer. So
keep it customer focused right from sentence one, in other words. Okay. Right. And so then do you begin by learning about the business's customers? Do you do a lot of interviewing? How do you learn the best tactic or the best way to tell the story with your customers?
Mm-hmm. The Moxie Tonic brand process is to dive in and really build and analyze what the company offers and then who their target audience is. And so the process begins with an interview with the business owner. It also begins with a really deep look at who the ideal client is. And so first, we look at who their target audience is, what their needs are, what their concerns are, what their values are.
Okay.
What elements can you build relationships on? Commonalities, right? Because you don't want to convince somebody that it's really important to buy your product. What you want to do is find people who value the same things you do.
Yeah. And it's like that permission-based marketing. Here's what we have to offer. Here's why it's focused on you. And then they take the initiative and move forward.
Right. And it's a lot easier to get them over to becoming your customer when you already share values.
Right.
Of course, you can bring people over that you've got to educate, but that's more expensive. It's a longer sales cycle. So we really want to tap in and build on, honestly, like common values and common beliefs.
So for folks listening out there that might be doing it themselves, maybe they're working in the trenches, as it were, they should probably give you a call. But what would be some tips and tricks to help get them started on some simple things that they can do, whether it's on Facebook or on their own website, to be better communicators and to be more customer focused? What are some things that a listener might be able to do?
The first is to get really specific about who your ideal client is. If you're a realtor out there, please don't say, I want to help people who need a house.
Yeah, everyone's my client.
Everybody needs a house.
You're right.
But you're not the right realtor for everybody. So get real specific about the type of client you love working with. What clients do you get up in the morning excited to reconnect with, continue their project, continue working with? And what are some of the things about clients you've worked with in the past that are just non-starters for you? What are some of those people that you want to avoid because it's just not a good working relationship? It's okay to admit that not everybody's right for your business.
Totally.
So if you build out that client avatar, go ahead and get really specific. Put a name to it. It sounds dorky, I know, but name your client.
Right.
Talk about what they like to do, what lights their fire, what keeps them going, what do they value, and what do they need.
So before you even put, pen to paper or, cursor to Word document, first you suggest really do some research, do some introspection, and learn not only who do you want to work with, but who do you not want to work with.
Yeah. Okay.
Just for curiosity, let's say I've done that. Let's say I have a good understanding and I've named her Sally Sanderson, and she's my ideal client. What are some things that I might be able to do as a business owner to help communicate directly to her? What are some what would something maybe you would do for your client, or what would be a tip that you would give to a listener that might be interested?
The next step is going to you want to get really specific on one core message. Going back to that idea that we're hit with 1 million marketing messages every day, and you can fact check me on that. It is literally 1 million.
I'm sure. I believe that. You're right. I mean, it's anytime you're on Facebook now, it's 15-second ads. They're popping up while you're watching some other video. I mean, YouTube is full of it. We are an advertised society. Yeah. Absolutely. So pick one core message that you need to communicate to your ideal client and stick with it. Simplify it. Okay.
Don't try and do it all at once. Even if your business is really complex, distill what it is you do to help your client down into one sentence. Even that elevator pitch, that 30-second elevator pitch is probably too long.
Right.
One core message, how do you help people? How do you make their life better? And stay on that message.
Yeah, I know there's always a joke I tell folks is like, just when you're absolutely sick, couldn't hear it one more time, your tagline or your piece of advertising that you're using, when you're finally sick of it, it's just started to work, like it's just beginning. It's in its infancy. And to you, it's like old hat. Oh my gosh, if I have to hear that one more time, I'm going to go crazy. But that's how long it takes to penetrate even into a local market, just like here in Colorado Springs. There's only a handful of jingles that I know about car companies or something like that, but at the same token, they work, and they've been doing them probably for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here locally, everybody knows the phone number for Empire Carpets because you can sing it, with the jingle. But if you stay on that message at Moxie Tonic Marketing, we call that your brand unity. That is the one thing that ties together all the elements of your content marketing. It's that unified message.
Excellent. So the early advice would be to before you even start writing or communicating, really do some introspection, do a lot of learning, figure out who it is you want to focus on. Once you have that figured out, then keep it really simple and keep it targeted. Keep it short and sweet and to the point, and make it about your customer. Don't make it about you. We're not the best. Our customers are the best, and our customers choose us because.
Yeah, keep your customer as the hero of the story.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Yeah, because we always want to be the hero, but our customers are actually the hero. And, maybe our business should be like a magic wand that they use instead of the other way around. Oh, that's really good. I like that a lot. Well, we're going to go on a quick break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Click the Tune In Follow tab and have instant access to your favorite IB programming. IB is your Internet Broadcasting Network.
This is Megan, Cindy,
and Sammy,
and we are the Success Radio USA Singers. Thank you for listening to Success Radio USA.
Hello, I'm Chuck Bader.
And this is Jerry Evans.
And you're invited to join us on Profiles of Success, where we feature stories of successful businesses and successful individuals.
You can find us on TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, or Stitcher by searching Success Radio USA. Or go to our website at successradio.us.
Our current program is available every day, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. We air new programs on every Monday. These are programs which are designed to guide you along your path of success, to provide you with the information, the inspiration, and the motivation to achieve your goals. Right here on Profiles of Success on Success Radio USA.
Hey, we are back. You are listening to the Mad Marketing Show. You can find us on madcrane.com and successradio.us. You can also find us on TuneIn and SoundCloud Radio. Really, wherever you get your podcasts, we're available. And today we are being graced with the presence of Natalie Gowen of Moxie Tonic Marketing. And we've been talking about how to communicate to your customers and be customer-centric and really research and know who your customer is, because in this day and age of digital experience, I think the quote was 1 million ads, but way too many, right? I mean, we are so advertised to that getting the attention of a potential customer, you need to be focused, you need to be quick, and you need to be customer centric. So let's say we get their attention. Right now, what? Like, oh my gosh, we did all this work. We've gotten their attention. you could really argue that now the actual labor begins. Now we have to nurture and grow that potential client into hopefully a paying customer. What are some, I know that's exactly what you do at Moxie Tonic Marketing. Like that's the main, just getting the customer is not the important part. Not getting the customer, getting the lead, but turning that lead into a customer. What are some tools and tactics that you use at Moxie Tonic Marketing in order to make that a reality?
One of the things I like to talk about with my clients is the idea that the way your website looks is like that love at first sight feeling that your customer gets. They come to your site, they're impressed by the branding. It's visually is something that they're like, yeah, this is what I like. And that judgment comes within a couple of seconds. Mm-hmm. And then the headlines grab them and say, oh, wow, I see that brand unity. This resonates with me.
Right.
Now becomes the longer process of dating and letting them get to know you and convincing them that there's substance behind that initial feeling of,
right,
maybe this company can help me out. Maybe this company can solve my problem.
Okay.
And so that comes in with the long form content and the way that you talk about your processes, the way you talk about the benefits, the way you talk about the features of what you offer your clients.
Okay. And then when you say long form content, I assume you're talking about like on page content as well as maybe articles or video. Do you suggest people blog, or do you suggest that if they were going to pick one tactic again, what would be the one that you recommend that they focus on?
Yes, all of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you need to be holistic in your marketing efforts, especially in this day and age. Yeah. So then what do you see as, again, for the folks that are maybe listening that are do-it-themselvers mm-hmm. or just beginning to learn about this, mm-hmm. What are some things that they can do to help foster that relationship, to help grow that knowledge base that they need to give their customer? Should they be blogging, and how does one blog, or should they mm-hmm. instead be calling Moxie Tonic Marketing and having you do it for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Blog posts, strategic blog posts are something that Moxie Tonic Marketing offer. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely something that we can do to help our clients who feel overwhelmed by the process of keeping up the pace of content marketing. I would back up before you start blogging and make sure that the content on your website is strategically designed to help funnel clients into the right place. And right. that begins on your homepage with strategically placed calls to action. I don't want to go to your website if you're a pizza shop and not be able to see your phone number on the front page.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Order now has to be in the top right-hand corner mm-hmm. of your website. And whether you sell pizza, whether you're in real estate, whether you are B2B, mm-hmm. you've got to constantly let people know you're in business. This is how you reach out to me.
Correct.
And then you build that story on your website to say, is this your problem? Well, if it is, go to this section of my website right. where the client can see how you address their issues and how you're going to be a guide to fixing them. Remember, they're the hero of your story,
mm-hmm. yeah.
of their own story. You're the guide to help them get there.
Yeah. Can we be the wizard instead? Give them a...
yeah, right? You're Gandalf to Frodo, right?
Totally. Okay.
And you can be the wizard.
Sorry to geek out there for a second.
No, that's all right. So making sure that you have calls to action on your website is the number one thing you can do to turn your website into something that takes visitors and turns them into leads.
Right.
And then beyond that, you've been asking about blogging.
Right.
That's so important because then that's when you can start to get really specific. Remember, I talked about the fact that you want your overall message of unity to be really, really simple.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But businesses generally aren't simple. You don't have one product offering. You don't have one thing you offer to solve one problem. You have a bunch. Mm-hmm. So that's when you can use your blog to go in and really start detailing how you help people in really specific ways.
Okay. But at the same token, just like when we were talking about the early advertising language and just gaining attention, you didn't suggest to start with a one-liner. You suggested to start with the customer and build a profile and really learn about who you want to do business with. In the same regard to a long-term content strategy, if you don't have the good call to action, just a solid website that's not a brochure but actually designed to move people into a conversion, right, where they can sign up for a newsletter or provide you with their contact information, or hopefully walk through your door or call you on the phone. Once that's in place, then the longer term strategy of creating good quality content that's focused on an issue is in play. So if someone was listening down and writing a playbook, right, like start with research, step 2, more research,
right.
Step 3, get the basics good, right? Keep it simple, calls to action to who you are. And then finally, when they're really ready, turn on a long-term content marketing strategy and have it be about specific issues.
Yeah, don't just blog to blog. Blog with a purpose, because putting out good blog content that's going to attract and engage your ideal client takes a lot of time and a lot of resources. And you don't have to have the volume if you've got the strategy so that each blog post is as effective as possible. What problem are you identifying with this blog post? What question do your ideal clients have? And what's the solution? Or rather, what's the teaser to the solution, right? We're in business. We don't want to give away everything. Give them a couple of things they can do to solve the problem on their own, and lead into either a content upgrade in the form of download my free guide, or a call to action to schedule an appointment to talk to you further and figure out how your business can solve their problem.
Right, because at the end of the day, that's the whole point of our website is it's to convert visitors into customers.
Exactly.
So if someone's out there maybe struggling with this, you said it perfectly, right? You don't need to have the quantity if you've got the quality and the strategy built. What is the right quantity? Because I get questions about this all the time. People think that they're supposed to blog a post a day, which is a lot of work when you think about it. What would you recommend to like a do-it-yourselfer out there that maybe is kind of struggling to get their blog going or looking for some validation that they are doing the right amount of work? What would you recommend?
I recommend something that's sustainable for your business. So I don't want to narrow it down and say you should put out a blog post once a week.
Right.
Daily is way too much. Yeah. Especially if you're on your own, you're a solopreneur. I've seen customers have really great success posting once a month because there's the strategy. They've researched the SEO key phrases so that they're getting hits from Google.
Right. It's actually driving. It's not only is it a piece of information, but it's a traffic source as well.
Yeah. If you do it right, a really well-written blog post can be a self-contained source of inbound traffic, moving them all the way through into that lead generation.
Right, especially if you've done the right calls to action that we talked about earlier about building a way to capture that data, then that single article, you could write one a quarter if it was working for you in that regard. Okay.
Yeah, what you want to do at the end of every single blog post is let your prospect know what's next. Don't ever leave a piece of content with no direction. Right. Because what they will do 9 out of 10 times is click that little red button in the corner and bounce off your site to never come back.
Right.
But if you say, here's this next blog post that goes into the problem a little deeper, or you say, give me a call, give them an action to take, and you're going to have a lot more lead generation coming in off your content.
Right. You really have to guide them through the process and make it as easy as possible, because assumptions are so easy, especially when you're in the website all the time and it's your business and you just assume, well, this is clear, and yet, it's not clear. It's not clear at all, especially if someone is just having their very first interaction or even an early interaction with you. That's a really good piece of advice. Always give them a next step.
Always give them a next step. And what happens is people will say to me, well, I don't want to come off too pushy. Well, to be honest, I've never met a business that is overly pushy.
Right.
That is never anybody's problems. If you don't have enough leads coming into the business, you are not being overly pushy.
Right. Yeah.
And so be really clear, be really direct, and remember what you're offering is a solution to their problem. Who wouldn't want to know what's next?
Right. This is it's the age-old transaction relationship. I mean, they need something, you have the answer. Don't be afraid of getting customers or becoming or coming off as aggressive, because if you're absolutely right, if you need business, you're probably not aggressive unless you're being aggressive in the wrong way, Oh, too funny. Okay. So let's before we go into another quick break, what would be just a holistic, simple piece of advice about how someone can go in a do-it-themselves environment from starting to finishing, and what would that kind of look like? What's the time frame on getting one of these things off the ground, just creating a strategy?
Creating the strategy or the blog post?
Yeah, I guess the strategy comes first. You're just creating a blog post, right? How long should one spend on...
I would say if you've got a targeted idea of what you're going to do, you really don't make your blog posts more than 500 to 800 words. And, I can churn one of those out in 2 hours.
Right.
You might take 4.
It could take me a couple days, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So keep it short. Again, it's always keep it short and simple, but at least in this case, really detailed and focused, and guiding the customer. I really like that. I like being a wizard. That's a cool thing. And who doesn't want to be Frodo? Well, maybe not Frodo, but or Aragorn. Maybe he's a nice hero.
There you go.
We're totally Jake. We're nerding out a little bit with Tolkien here. Well, wonderful. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back on the other side of that to keep our conversation with Natalie Gowen of Moxie Tonic Marketing going.
Have you ever thought about hosting your own radio show? Well, broadcasting and hosting your own radio show on the Internet Broadcasting Network is the perfect way to get your message out in a dynamic, effective, and timely way. You will gain instant credibility as the expert by showcasing your knowledge and capabilities. Never been in front of a studio microphone before? No problem. We will empower you to become the best host you can be by using our expertise in all aspects of producing, engineering, and marketing a high-quality, professional-sounding broadcast for your show. You will discover that utilizing the power and flexibility of the Internet Broadcasting Network can keep you in front of any audience you choose. Friends, family, existing clients, it doesn't matter. Over time, they can become a natural referral source. Monetize your show by selling audio spots during your program and placement ads on your show website. Sound interesting? Go to ibroadcasting.us for more information and give us a call. We will help you through every step of the way. This is the IB Network.
Click the Tune In Follow tab and have instant access to your favorite IB programming. IB is your Internet Broadcasting Network.
What's Matt Crane doing for content marketing?
I'll talk to you in a second.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Mad Marketing Show. We are here today with Natalie Gowen of Moxie Tonic Marketing, and we have been talking all about content, whether it's the short, attention-grabbing stuff that you put onto Facebook or targeting search traffic with your pay-per-click marketing campaigns, all the way down to the long-form articles and videos that you use to nurture and educate your clientele. Earlier in the show, Natalie, you had said, I had asked, what is the best kind of content? And you said everything. You have to have an overarching strategy. I would assume that is true, too, for how you go and collect, attention, to nurturing that attention. What I know Moxie Tonic actually provides campaign management and email marketing. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of, just because you don't get them on the first communication isn't a problem, and you have to communicate over time with a client and kind of what you do to help your customers achieve that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, just going back to the analogy of when you first meet somebody and it's love at first sight, mm-hmm. the proposal is not usually the next thing. Hi,
right. Yeah.
Will you marry me?
Yeah, no, I don't know who you are. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm not going to marry you. Well, will you go out with me? Mm-hmm. Right. Here's this valuable proposition I have for you. Here's a download, a case study, some free information, free value. Mm-hmm. That's going out with me, right? Mm-hmm. And then I might come back at the end of that download and say, hey, will you marry me?
Right.
It's like, no, not yet. Mm-hmm. Well, then I put that person who doesn't want to marry me yet, isn't ready to do business yet, into a strategic email funnel where they're getting dripped content, where I'm staying top of mind. Mm-hmm. And then in the course of that, hey, will you marry me?
Right. That slowly moves into an actual legitimate question, and it's not too early.
It's not too early. Yes, there's low-hanging fruit out there that are ready. They're primed. They're ready to jump into business with you. Mm-hmm. But that's such a small number compared to the people out there that will do business with you when they've been given the opportunity to do that age-old know, like, and trust you.
Right.
Then they'll do business.
And that's a great way to build the trust, is that over time, if your communication is always, hey, will you marry me? Well, you haven't said anything to me in 6 months, so I don't even remember who you are. Versus if it's 6 months of good, solid information and legitimate conversation, maybe it's through Facebook or through email, with those articles and the long form and maybe videos. I'm a big fan of video. That is a great time to then, now you can ask again, because our relationship has grown. It hasn't just been this stagnant thing where every time we talk, you're just asking for my business versus you're actually helping me with problems, and I can learn about why I should care about this, especially if it's a different product set mm-hmm. than a real estate agent, right? We all do need a house. Maslow's not wrong there. Right. So what... when you are working with a client to build that long-term strategy, I assume you're back to being very customer-centric and customer-focused. What are some things that you're asking yourselves or viewing within the business to build that drip marketing campaign, and how are you making sure that it's successful?
Well, every client that I work through has gone through the Moxie Tonic brand assessment, where we've built that ideal profile of the client. We've built the brand unity. We've built out the values that we want to capitalize on, or build connection on is a better way to phrase it. Mm-hmm. And then we've talked about what the brand reflection is. We want our content to reflect a mirror image of the ideal client. But it's, we can just go ahead and say that wizard has magicked that mirror. Mm-hmm. And instead of the client looking at himself as he is now, seeing himself in the future with his problems solved and painting a really, really clear picture of what life is like after we've worked together, once we do business together. Okay. So that a lot of the objections to spending money with me as a business owner are wiped away when I understand, or when the client understands exactly what is going to happen.
Perfect.
And build that brand reflection. So how do you take that and incorporate it into a content strategy?
Right.
Website content leading into valuable information, either in what you get in a lead magnet, a free download. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a video series. Maybe it's something that you can consume in about 5 to 10 minutes, because we want the prospect to get to the call to action.
Right.
From there, you can build out an email drip that slowly goes out over time. It can be as quick as 5 to 7 days, and then put them into a longer holding pattern if they're not ready to commit after that 5 to 7 days of receiving information from you, so that you stay top of mind.
Right. Mm-hmm. especially if they're in a decision-making process, you want to be the person they land and decide on.
Right, right. When they go back to find, what was that company that was going to help me with XYZ? You want to be there in their email or be there just top of mind. You want to be in their social media feed. Social media is a great place to get people to like you on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever platform you're active on. Get them over there so that you're showing up and your business name is top of mind when they're ready to make that decision and pull the trigger.
Absolutely. Now, when you're working with a customer, then how do you help to stitch all this together? Because this is, someone listening going, I have to do this myself. I have to manage. Oh my Lord, I also have to run a business. What are some things that you take off a business owner's plate? What's some reasons to work with Moxie Tonic Marketing?
As business owners, I think you learn really quickly that you have to stay in your lane. And I've also heard it talked about as your zone of genius. What are you really good at? And what is it that only you can do? And for some business owners that have built a really personal brand, working with Moxie Tonic means building out that brand profile and then Moxie Tonic steps into an advisory role as to how they can shape their content. We become somebody to ping ideas off of. Like
a consultant.
And just like a consultant and just double check, hey, am I still on message? Maybe I can't see the forest from the trees right now. Other business owners don't want to spend the time writing a blog post or creating that email campaign or fine-tuning subject lines so that they get their open rates up from 20% to where as marketing professionals, we see our clients with open rates around 50 to 60%.
Oh, man. Okay.
Just because we geek out about the words you put into a subject line. So when that part starts to feel overwhelming or you just know that's something you'll never do, that's where coming to Moxie Tonic, coming to a content writer is going to help you take that load off your plate, but then still be able to build those strategies and those lead funnels.
Right.
To grow your business.
And so if somebody is thoroughly in the, hey, this is my business, I do it myself camp, you can still be a coach. You can still be there to help them navigate some of the trickier stuff and provide feedback. Or if people are like, oh man, I'm so out to sea on this, I have no idea, you can really run the entire thing.
Exactly. I think the unifying thing that makes a client a good fit for Moxie Tonic is when you're really excited about sharing your story and you want to get it right.
Right.
And we can help you do that, really connect with the right kind of clients.
And then, so you're on Facebook at Moxie Tonic. They can search Moxie Tonic. You have a website, moxietonic.com. What are some other ways that folks can get in touch and interact with you and learn about what you're doing?
Yeah, going to our website is a great place to go ahead and get some free content on how to build these yourself or learn more about how to connect with your brand. Facebook, we're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere you can search under Moxie Tonic, you'll find us there.
Excellent. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up the show, is there anything that you see as really changing the future of content marketing? What's coming down? Here it is, the beginning of 2018. What's going to happen in 2019? What's going to happen in 2020? What do you see for folks that are really plugged into this? What should they keep their eye on?
The importance of video. And this is something that's not new. It's been coming for a while. It just keeps getting better. The conversion rates are better. More and more people are reaching out through video, and they're really, really effective.
Okay.
And so you wouldn't necessarily think of coming to a content writer for help with your video, but at the same time, that same strategy and that same brand message is important.
It's holistic.
It does. It all has to come together. It all has to fit. It all has to be unified. And we do video scripts.
Oh, excellent. I was going to ask, does that include like some storyboarding, building the actual imagery? Awesome. I didn't realize that you were as plugged into video as that is. That's really exciting to hear, because video, and I keep saying, man, if you do one thing, pay attention and do some video. It's insane to me how people, they won't read a perfectly gorgeous article And when they do, they may be skeptical about it, but they will watch cat videos all day. And then when they do watch those videos, they're way more engaged with it. We're such a visual creature. Mm-hmm. Now, there are still sections of the populace that are always going to be readers, but video is, I think, a really exciting frontier. Well, if I wanted to get in touch with you, I would visit your website. What would be a good number for me to call?
You can reach me at 719-244-3000.
Okay.
And that will get you right into being able to ask questions on how content marketing can help your business grow. You can email me at natalie@moxietonic.com, and all of that information is, of course, available on my website.
Right, www.moxietonic.com. Excellent. Well, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about one of the things I'm really passionate about, which is social enterprise and social impact. So thank you so much for giving us all this information on content marketing, whether it's from building a strategy or implementing that strategy. And it's good to know that you can be not only a coach, but also a true one-stop shop for people that are looking for help here. And thank you so much for talking with us today. We'll be right back after a short break, and then we'll talk about social impact.
Did you know the highest level of brand awareness is top of mind awareness? Top of mind brand awareness is when a customer needs to make a purchase within your product category and they think of you first. Top of mind brand awareness is built through repeated exposure and consistent brand delivery. Tying your brand to one of our internet shows or one of our internet radio networks can expose your brand to hundreds of people every day. Think of how top of mind brand awareness can give you a huge advantage in the market when a customer is ready to buy and your brand immediately comes to mind first. It's affordable, consistent longevity that can reach your exact demographic locally or nationally. Call today, 719-243-3172. That's 719-243-3172.
Click the Tune In Follow tab and have instant access to your favorite IB programming. IB is your internet broadcasting network.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Mad Marketing Show. We are here with Natalie Gowen of Moxie Tonic Marketing, and we've been chatting about content marketing and email and Facebook and all of the ways that we communicate with our customers. And it was really, really valuable information. I really appreciate especially the logic that our customers are the hero of the story and that we need to be the wizard with the magic wand that helps them achieve what they want to achieve versus always talking about ourselves. But now at the end of the show, I love to talk about social impact because I am a card-carrying millennial that has been in love with Patagonia and Tom's Shoes and Whole Foods and all of the people that have, companies that have really developed this new space of doing business. And I think as marketers, especially storytellers, it's such a great way to not only communicate to a new customer base, but also just to truly provide some actual impact to your community. You know, yes, we need to make money, and yes, we need to pay our mortgage, right? But we can do more, I think. And I'm always curious to hear people's opinions about what social impact means to them. Is it something that they've heard of before? So maybe that's where I'll start. Have you heard of that term before, social impact?
Social impact and social enterprise, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's killer news, because I am always excited that it is a growing statement, especially in our town, with the Colorado Institute for Social Impact right in our backyard here. So to you, what does that mean? Is it something that you are actively pursuing now? Is it something you aspire to be able to do? Because it doesn't have to be for everybody, and it's not a requirement at all. But what does social impact kind of mean to you?
For me, social impact is being aware of different life experiences and and validating people where they are, and reaching out to help lift. And as we lift, we all can climb together. And the stronger we make our community, the better it is for everybody in it, no matter what path you're on.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that business is uniquely positioned, I think, in this new kind of climate that we find ourselves in, where and I don't want to get too political, but with the change in the tax code, it could be very well that a lot of these not-for-profits that have relied on just the tax incentive alone of with the standard deduction increasing to the size it's going to increase, some of the people that have been writing off and putting that $500 spend on their 1040, it no longer makes any sense. They may actually stop spending that money. And I think business is uniquely positioned in that we have an economic engine behind us. We are making money, and therefore that liquidity can be put to good use in certain targeted instances. And then the other thing that I think that you and I, again, share, being in the digital marketing space, is that we have an obligation to kind of share that story. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but if you were going to look at sharing a story about social impact, how would you make it as customer centric as possible, but also make sure that it's not coming off as braggadociousness? I mean, is that something that you would worry about?
One of the things that's really cool when you step into the space of marketing through story is that you have the opportunity to help people get to really make a strong connection with the businesses that they work with, right? Everything right now is I feel like it's pulling in two different directions. There's big box everything, where we can go and we can get clothes that are manufactured across the sea, and you don't really know what the labor conditions are. And then you also have opportunity, because of the internet, to connect with businesses that are passionate about sourcing their products in a responsible way. And if you're that kind of business, if you're small enough that you can have that kind of impact, I'm not saying it's just a small business thing, because obviously companies like Tom's are doing remarkable work.
Right, they're huge.
They're huge. But there's a way to build that connection with your ideal client that doesn't come off like a whole lot of back patting and I'm so great.
Right.
And that's talking about the values. What are your values, and how do you act on them? And when you talk about that and you say, hey, you know what? I really value individuals and lifting them up out of a place of homelessness, or empowering women to be economically self-sufficient. Right. And this is how I give back to my community because of my values. How do you give back to your community because of your values? And you start building on those common beliefs. And then it's not that, wow, look at me, I'm so great.
Right. It's not, it becomes, I like that. So focusing on values, which is in a way extremely customer centric, because if that customer shares those values, there's a connection there. And now there's a second reason for us to do business together, and I think that's what has the most power of social impact, is it gives the consumer another reason to spend money, because they're good, they need a shirt, or Tom's shoes. They need shoes. Of course they need shoes. We walk all day, they wear out. But if I'm going to buy a pair of shoes, I would love to be connected to a company that is taking my dollar further than just the shoe. And I like that, talking about values and really focusing on the values of our end users, as well as the values that we hold dear. So in that vein, what are some values that you aspire to? I know you don't have to say this in terms of Moxie Tonic. This can be in Natalie, divorced from Moxie Tonic, just in Natalie's world.
Well, even not divorced from the company itself. Empowering women is a huge part of what I believe in and helping make sure that all women's voices are heard and that we move into a sphere where we're not really as, right now I feel like we need to be concerned about gender, but I hope that we move to a place where people are valued for their contribution and it's not colored by whether they're male or female. Locally, I support the Women's Resource Agency. Right now, we're actually in a process of launching a new website for them, which has been a really awesome project to get into their brand message and get that message out there of how women in the Colorado Springs area can be economically independent.
Oh, fun. Okay. And again, values-based and, that's really cool. And so you're working with them both personally and with Moxie Tonic, correct?
Right. Well, I mean, and this is one of my ways of giving back to the community is that this work was done specifically to help donate and contribute to their cause.
Oh, fantastic. That is a cool cause. For folks, can you maybe explain a little bit for folks that aren't aware of what the Women's Resource Center is?
Sure. The Women's Resource Agency is a nonprofit organization here in Colorado Springs that teaches women and gives them opportunities to become economically independent. Everything from resume writing to computer classes. There's outreach programs in some of the local high schools to reach out to at-risk girls and bring them in and give them the skills to find jobs. And then one of the things that's really hard, especially, is just having the right wardrobe for a new job. It gets really expensive as a woman because you can't wear the same pair of pants 5 days a week and get away with it.
Us dudes, we have a lock on that one.
Right? Yeah. Right. And so you can donate your gently used business attire at the Citadel Mall
that's
to
wonderful.
the Women's Resource Agency, and it will go to a woman for interviews. And then when she lands a job, she's able to pick out I believe 5 to 7 work outfits so that she can go in confidently into her new employment.
Well, and provide an appearance, and that appearance goes two ways, right? You feel more professional. People view you as more professional.
Right.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Excellent work. That's awesome. One last thing I like to talk about is the impact that I'm all about, right? And I always joke that here I am, a digital marketing guy that's always get off your phone, what is your opinion on the addiction that we seem to have to technology? And here we are right in the thick of it. Do you see a problem with the attention we pay to Facebook and to just our digital news feed, whatever it comes through?
Definitely from a productivity standpoint, I've witnessed that in my own business life, as that it's very easy when you are in that digital marketing sphere to get pulled into it. But in setting some boundaries and being able to carve out space for it, it frees up so much more time to then reach out, make personal connections, and get out in the community.
Right. And that's what we should all be about, right, is actually making real connections versus digital connections. I mean, there's a time and a place for Facebook, obviously, but at the same token, that time and that place isn't anytime your phone vibrates in your pocket, so what are some tips that you do to block out some space? Do you turn off notifications, or are you just militant that from these hours in the day I will not touch it? Especially because you're plugged into it, you work in it.
Right. I think it all goes back to what kind of system works best for you. So what works for me might not work for you, but I do have actually a lot of the notifications turned off. I don't get email notifications when I'm working on my laptop. Text messages, Facebook, all those notifications are off. And I have set times during my workday that I go to check that, because it's very important to be responsive.
Right.
I also have staff that is hired to be
smart.
the one that's responding to Facebook and soon Twitter mentions so that it's not distracting. That's their job. Right. I don't want to be distracted from building client stories and staying focused on that, because that sucks your energy.
Oh, right. I mean, it's fun to get involved in, there's video snacking and the content snacking that can be done on Facebook. Sometimes it helps, right? Like if it's Thursday night and you can't get to sleep, maybe you do need to scroll, but you don't want to scroll through until 2 a.m. and now you have a true issue on your hands, right? But even more so during the workday. So you turn off your notifications and kind of, allot some time that is, it's Natalie time, it's work time. Don't bother. At least don't vibrate in my pocket, Facebook. That's really smart. That's really smart. Any other tricks or tips you have for staying productive while working in a digital world?
Yeah, I recently started at the beginning of the new year. The book is called A Miracle Morning.
Ooh, a book. I love books.
I know.
Okay.
Go check it out. The Miracle Morning. And it outlines 5 or 6 things you can do to kickstart your morning and get focused. For me, because I'm into that woo-woo stuff, it starts with a little bit of meditation.
Oh, smart.
Some affirmations. And it starts with some, I have a visualization board that I look at. Some people call them vision boards. I like to do the tongue twister version of it.
Okay, yeah.
And exercise and a little bit of reading and a little bit of journaling, which is the time I use to calendar exactly how I'm going to use my work hours so that I can be the most effective in all of that. And that, what is it? The end of January, middle of January, it has revolutionized my mornings and my productivity.
This is a new thing.
This is very new.
Oh, exciting.
But it has really kickstarted my mornings in a productive way.
And so what's that called again?
Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning. And it's a book. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah. For me, it's like if I can find a way to help get people off of their devices. There's time and place, but it's when you don't have a plan, when you don't have a strategy, that's when you get way late, and all of a sudden 45 minutes later you've looked at pictures of your niece's frog, or I don't know what you're looking at, right? I mean, there's all kinds of odd things out there. Or you've spent 5 minutes viewing a YouTube video on Japanese art form, drumming or something like that. And so that's always good to know that Miracle Morning is a good tool out there. I'll have to check that book out.
That's a good one.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much for coming into the show today. If you're just tuning in, we're about to end, and I'm sorry, but we have been talking with Natalie Gowen all afternoon. Natalie is the owner of Moxie Tonic Marketing, and she is a content editor, content writer, content coach. She's a content guru. She's a wizard. That's what she is. She's a wizard. Again, Natalie, how can we find you if we want your services or need some help with our websites? We would go to
moxietonic.com, or you can email me directly, Natalie@moxietonic.com. And there's always my phone number, 719-244-3000.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for joining us today. We really appreciated having you on the show. You've been listening to the Mad Marketing Show. You can find us on Facebook. We are on Success Radio USA, or you can visit our website at successradio.us. You can also go to Facebook and find Mad Crane Marketing and the Mad Crane Marketing Show. Be sure to follow us there, like us, and tune in. We are sponsored in part by the 365 Grand Club. Remember, your club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. If you don't have one, get one today. And so thanks again for tuning in. Have a mad, mad day.
You have been listening to the Mad Marketing Show on Success Radio USA with host Alex Belding. Brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. So start enjoying the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by going to 365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. God bless you, and see you all next week on the Mad Marketing Show right here on Success Radio USA.